How do we really change? I mean, it's one of the biggest questions we can ask, right? Well, today we're going to dig into this amazing 350-year-old blueprint for personal transformation. It comes from a 17th century minister, Thomas Watson, who put together this incredible guide to one of life's most essential and, most misunderstood concepts, repentance.
And Watson doesn't pull any punches. He starts with this incredibly powerful metaphor. Get this, he says that in life we've all suffered shipwreck. And repentance, that's not just saying sorry. Nope. He says it's the only plank left for us to grab onto to swim to safety. Right away, you know the stakes here are, well, they're as high as they can possibly get.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at why this idea got so lost, then check out 3 counterfeits of repentance. After that, we'll dive into the 6 true ingredients, covering the inward turn, the outward change, and how it all leads to a complete transformation. So first things first, why did Watson even write a whole book about this? Well, he saw repentance as absolutely crucial, for a good life. But he also saw that everybody was getting it wrong. He felt like people were kind of getting squeamish, not wanting to really look at their own flaws. So his whole goal was to cut through all that noise and give people a super clear step-by-step definition. And the way he does it is pretty smart. Before he even tells us what repentance is, he first clears the table of what it's not. He basically wants to tear down all the common fakes first. He calls them counterfeits, and says there are 3 big ones that look like the real thing but just aren't. So what are these fakes? What do people mistake for real, genuine change all the time? Watson points to 3 common illusions. They look the part, but they're empty on the inside. Let's jump into the first one.
Okay, counterfeit number 1, legal terror. This is basically just being scared stiff of getting in trouble. Watson makes a really sharp point here. A terrified person is not the same as a repenting person. Think about it, right? Freaking out because you're about to get caught is not the same as actually wanting to be a better person. He says real change has to come from a genuine change of heart, not just being afraid of what's going to happen to you.
Next up, counterfeit number 2 is just making a resolution to stop doing something wrong. And man, Watson just nails human psychology with this one line. He says, vows made in a storm often die on a calm. Haven't we all seen that? You're in some kind of crisis, you're sick, and you make all these dramatic promises, but as soon as things calm down, poof, they're gone. That's not real change. That's just panic talking. And the last fake he points out? Leaving some bad habits behind, but not all of them. It's like cleaning up one room in your house but letting the rest of it fall apart. Watson says this is just exchanging one sin for another. Maybe you quit one bad habit, but you just pick up another one to replace it. You haven't really changed anything, you've just swapped problems. Real change, he says, has to be a clean break. Okay, so now that we've tossed out all the counterfeits, Watson is ready to show us the real deal. And he's got another great metaphor for us. He describes genuine repentance as a kind of spiritual medicine, like a carefully mixed prescription designed to heal you from the inside out. But here's the thing. This isn't some simple one-and-done pill. Watson says this spiritual medicine is a complex formula. It's made up of 6, count them, 6 distinct and absolutely essential ingredients. And every single one has a critical job to do. You can't skip any of them. So here they are, the 6 ingredients that make up this whole journey. Sight of sin, sorrow for sin, confession, shame, hatred, and finally, turning from sin. And what's absolutely crucial for Watson is that this is not a buffet. You can't just pick the ones you like. He says if even one of these is missing, the whole medicine is useless. It doesn't work. So let's break these down one by one. Now, Watson breaks these 6 ingredients into 2 main groups, which makes a lot of sense. The first 3 are all about the inward turn. This is the stuff that happens deep inside, in your mind and your heart, way before anyone sees anything on the outside.
So, ingredient number 1 is the sight of sin. This is that moment of just seeing things clearly. He says it's like coming to oneself after hitting rock bottom. It's that moment of brutal honesty, of real self-awareness. I mean, you can't fix a problem if you don't even see it, right? And we're not talking about some vague feeling of guilt here. This is a sharp, bright light shining on your specific flaws.
Okay, once you see it, next comes sorrow for sin. And Watson uses some really intense language here. He calls it a holy agony. This isn't just feeling kind of bad. It's a deep, gut-wrenching grief. And here's the key difference he points out. This is sorrow for the thing you did, not sorrow that you got caught. It's about grieving the cause, not just being bummed about the effect. And he gets even more specific about what this godly sorrow looks like. It's got to be inward, a true heartache, not just for show. It has to be sincere, meaning you're more upset about the offense than the penalty.
And this is so important. It's a faithful sorrow. It's mixed with hope, a desire to make things right, not one that just drags you down into despair. You can see how deep he's going with this.
The third part of this inward turn is confession of sin. Watson calls it self-accusing, which is really just owning it, taking total responsibility. The idea is that if you judge yourself, honestly and out loud, you kind of get ahead of the game. It's about voluntarily admitting exactly what you did wrong. And just like with sorrow, not all confessions are the same. For Watson, a real confession has to be voluntary. It can't be dragged out of you. It's got to be specific, too, not just a general, oh, I'm a bad person, but naming the actual things you did. And, crucially, it has to come with a rock-solid decision inside yourself to not do it again. Okay, so that's all the deep internal work. But Watson says it can't just stay inside. That change has to show up on the outside. So the last three ingredients are all about the outward signs, the visible proof that something has really, truly shifted.
Ingredient number 4 is shame for sin. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shame gets a really bad rap today, right? But Watson has a different take. He calls it a holy bashfulness and says blushing is the color of virtue. For him, it's that natural, even healthy feeling you get when you realize the foolishness or just the wrongness of what you did.
From that shame comes ingredient number 5, hatred of sin. And this isn't about being angry. It's more like a deep, powerful aversion, what he calls a holy antipathy. A person who's really changed doesn't just hate the consequences of their actions, they hate the action itself. It's an implacable hatred, which basically means you make a permanent break. There's no going back, no making peace with it ever again.
And all of this leads to the grand finale, the 6th and most critical ingredient, turning from sin. This is it. This is the action that proves everything that happened inside was real. It's a visible, total change in how you live your life. We're not talking about tweaking a few things here and there. Watson says your whole life's direction changes. It's like a ship making a hard 180-degree turn. And crucially, it's a turn with no looking back.
So, you see, when you put all 6 of these ingredients together, it's so much more than just an apology. What Watson has given us is a full roadmap for a complete and total transformation, from that first flicker of realization deep inside to a radical change in how you actually live.
And you can really see how it all flows together, can't you? It's like a chain reaction. First, you see the problem. That sight leads to genuine sorrow. That sorrow leads to confession. Confession brings a healthy shame. That shame grows into a powerful hatred for the thing itself. And finally, that hatred gives you the power and the motivation for the ultimate act, turning your life around for good.
Look, there's no doubt about it. Watson's 350-year-old framework is, well, it's tough. It's demanding. It doesn't let us off the hook with easy answers. It forces a really deep look at ourselves. And whether you see this as a spiritual guide or a psychological blueprint for change, it leaves us all with a huge, timeless question to think about. In your own life, what does it really mean to truly change?